Here, welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I'm so grateful to have you here on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we're going to talk about making a decision. And before you get too afraid, just know that this is just going to be like a regular chill kind of thing for day 2 of the Christmas blog. So vlog, so video, like blog of different things that I've learned, kind of like normal. But as we head into this holiday season, I want to make sure that we get prepped by being appreciative of the things that we have, by learning the lessons that God's trying to teach us and using it for the future now, and not just waiting until New Year's to start implementing those things, those changes that we want to make in our lives. And I think it's important for us to not make the excuse like we have later. Oh, I could just do this thing later. Oh, I could just go to this place later. I could just be in a relationship later. I can be in my purpose later, when it's no time like the present. So get comfortable because we're about to get into it. Let's go. Okay. So it's so funny because I really feel like sometimes when we're making decisions, we're the ones that stand in our own way. We get so afraid of the outcome of the decisions that we make, or how we are going to be disappointed or rejected or whatever else. We are so afraid to tell someone, or to tell someone how we feel. Like, and when I say that, I don't mean one-sided. I mean, like, if you have a family member or friend that's a part of your life that means a lot to you, you're like, well, if I say this thing that I don't agree with, then they're not going to like me. It's not about you being like, it's about you being respectful. So if you can respect the other person and tell them how you feel in a respectful way, then your feelings matter as well as their feelings. Just remember to be respectful. And then also, when it comes to jobs, if you don't go for what you want, how do you know that that job is not for you? If it's not for you, God's going to block it. He's going to make sure you don't get the position. He's going to redirect you somewhere else. So it's just so funny to me how we could be so fearful of asking for the things that we want in life, or being honest with ourselves about what it is that we actually want, that we crush our own hopes. We make it seem impossible for the things that are possible with God. With God, all things are possible. And yet, for some reason, we forget those things. I could see someone who is not a believer, and they're going for everything they want. They just have this zeal, this audacity, if you if you want to call it that. They just have this determination to just go at millions, trillions, zillions of dollars, however much money. They just are feeling like, okay, if I want it, I'm just going to affirm that this is what I want, and I'm going to go for it. If I want this person, place, or thing, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do to get the things that I want to get in life. And I don't mean like you got to crush someone else to get it, but the the energy that they have behind it is something that I know people are going to be like really upset and outraged when I say this, and I don't mean this offensively, but it's the energy that I think a lot of Christians don't hold. And I don't think it's Christians to blame in general. I think it's because we have always had this saying in the community of broke-minded Christianity, and they haven't always called it that. They've always called it just being humble or being appreciative of what you have. But being appreciative does not mean settling for less than what you deserve, what God's best is for you. God would never intend for you to have less than his best in your life ever. So I think that sometimes that mindset gets in the way of us going for the things that we actually want in life, going for a job that pays more because we're saying, oh, we need to be appreciative of where we are. Yes, you should be appreciative of where you are, but also know that you can go for more. You don't have to just settle in one. And I'm not saying just job hop all over the place. I'm saying listen to God for discernment so he can direct you where you should go. And if there's something that you want in your life, you have to go for it. Stop using religion or the way that you grew up or any other background story as a reason why you can't have the things that you want to have in life, because you can have everything that you want. The only thing standing in our way most of the times is us. We're the ones saying, oh, we're not good enough for this position. Who said that? Who said you can't be trained when you get to that position and actually be the best person in there? Who said that you can't learn some skills in a free online class at one of the academies they have on Google? Like, there's so many free things that are out there that will teach you things, teach you skills. There's an AWS cloud class on this Google University application that they have online that is completely free. And you can learn a whole bunch of IT skills. You could literally do course careers, which is like, I think $500. And I know some people are like 500, but I'm gonna put this into perspective, and I'm stealing this from AO, but but it's kind of like that post that he put with when he was saying, and I'm gonna get this all wrong, but you'll get the gist of it. He said something like, you'll pay $200 for a pair of shoes or something like that, but you won't pay $200 to start a business, or $200 to invest in something, or $200 for something that will increase your life, because $200 for course that you'll be able to utilize for the rest of your life is too much compared to a pair of shoes. And I'm not saying a pair of shoes would look bad or anything like that, but I'm just saying his point was mindset. And I feel like when you're in the mall or wherever else and you're like, oh, well, they have this new purse that just came out and it's like $200, and you got this pair of shoes. Well, I gotta get a pair of shoes that match this purse. That's another like $99. Well, that pair of pants that I have are not good. I might need another shirt, or, I needed a couple shirts anyways. Next thing you know, your total's $498. You spend it on an outfit that you're probably going to wear maybe 4 times. Because let's be real, you wanted the shoes when you were in the store, but now you're like, how many times am I going to really wear this? The purse, you might get some wear out of. But this course would be something that would feed your mind forever. Nobody can take the knowledge that you have away from you. Those shoes, you might have to sell them. That purse, you might have to give away. But that education is always going to be there. So what is more important, you educating yourself and being more knowledgeable? Because even the Bible says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So the more knowledge that you're getting, the more emotionally intelligent, the more well-versed you'll be, the more you'll be able to speak to different things, the more skills that you'll have to be able to go for the things that you want in life. So don't use, well, I'm not educated in this area. Well, I don't have this credential, whatever else. Let me tell you something about God. God will always qualify the unqualified. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what you think you don't have. What matters is that if God tells you this thing is for you, believe, believe without a shadow of a doubt that there's nothing any person, place, or thing could do to take that thing from you. There's not a woman walking around here that's bad enough to take your man if God said this is the man that's grace for you. There's not a woman bad enough out here that could take this woman away from you if God said that this woman is grace for you. There's not a job out there that's on some website somewhere looking for an applicant that is going to deny you if God said this job is specifically for you. God is going to make sure everything that's for you is yours, and can't nobody ever take it away from you. And sometimes I think we forget that, because we could be so biblical that we forget, or so religious, I should say, not biblical. We could be so religious that we forget that God can do anything. I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not some things, not a little bit of things, not, every once in a while God gonna come through. Like, no, God always comes through. Even if you don't get the thing that you want, you'll get everything that you need in life. Even if the thing doesn't work out the way that you want it to work out, it's always going to work out the way that God intended for it to work out, and for your good. Everything is working together for your good. Always. There is nothing that you could ever want for in life, because God will provide all of your needs. Jehovah Jireh. And so I think it's so important for us to remember that as we go finishing up this year and into the new year, to just go for the things that we want in life. It doesn't matter what computer skills you do or don't have. Take that class online in your spare time. Learn about Microsoft Word. Learn about all of these different applications that you can implement into your new career. If there's something that you want to do in life, if you want to start a business, I'm not saying quit your job. Please do not take my word and say, I'm going to quit my job because of some video I saw online. Don't do that. Confer with God, and then get confirmation that this is what God wants you to do. And if God is saying start your business, maybe work the job that you're working in, and your off time schedule 30 minutes to 3 hours to work on your business. Especially if you're a busy person, you say, I don't have a lot of time. Well, what are you spending your time doing? It's kind of like when you start budgeting and you're like, I just don't have no money. But you make all this money, like at the end of the year, you're like, where did all this money go? Like it's a mystery, but you know you've been spending it. So it's kind of like that. So when it comes to your time, you got to kind of go through your time like a budget, and or like your bank statements, and where you can see all of the transactions that you know you did. You'll be able to see all this time that you know you wasted. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Just a little light humor. But seriously, most of the times we are spending time like scrolling, maybe for 3 hours, when we could use an hour of that time to do something that's productive. Maybe we're spending time, and for me, my excuse is that everything's inspirational. So it's okay if I'm scrolling for 30 minutes to an hour. I literally have to put a time limit on myself. This week, I have not been on any social media site at all. I've literally been doing my videos on this application that I have, and I have not been using or utilizing social media, just to give myself some time to be able to be more creative without any other influences, you know? And so so sometimes you just need to make sure that the time that you're spending, you're utilizing it well. As of today, I've been doing this thing, or yesterday, I've been doing this thing where I try to think, okay, if this is my last day, and I know that sounds really ominous and everything, but I don't mean it in a creepy way. I'm not trying to freak people out or anything like that. You know, God's in control of all of that. So I'm just rolling with it. You know what I'm saying? And so I just try to live since yesterday as if it's my last day. Like if yesterday was my last day, what are all the things that I would want to accomplish in life? Like what are all the things that I could do that day, that like if I only had 24 hours or however much time when I'm not sleeping, I wake up until I go back to sleep. If I had that amount of time, what would I do? What would be the most important things to me? Who would I talk to? What are the things that would be the most important for me to work on? Would I want to help somebody? Where would I serve? Would I spend time with my family, my friends? Like what would I do at that time? And if I knew it was only 16 hours, how would I utilize each one of those time slots? If I know I'm working like 8 to 4 or something, and I know after 4 I could talk to people, I could do other stuff. The rest of that time I need to make sure I'm doing something productive that's adding to my life, because I want to make sure that I'm utilizing every single second that God has given me. I'm not trying to just sit out here just wasting time on anything. I want to make sure that everything that I'm doing is intentional. And so I hope that you apply that to your lives as well, and try to just utilize the time that you have to the best of your ability. You really try to think about, is this something that is going to move me forward or backwards? That's not me. I got it from some other thing a while back, but it's really helpful, because when you look at the time that you're giving certain people in your life, you're like, okay, is this making me be more productive? Is this pulling away from my time? Is this something that's really adding to me, or is this taking away from me? Is this, when I get on the phone with this person, do I feel anxious and upset, or do I feel peace and joy? When I am talking to this friend, is it going to be an hour of just complaining about things, or is it going to be an hour of me uplifting them? You know, I think about things like that. When I'm working on this book, am I really focusing in for 15 straight minutes and not just looking at it, thinking about something, doing something else, like just bouncing back and forth instead of really focusing in on the book or whatever else it is that I'm working on when it comes to projects? Like I have to really utilize that time well, because I don't have a lot of time to be able to do all of those things. So I need to make sure that I'm doing everything that it is that I need to do. And another thing is, definitely don't be ashamed to ask for the things that you want. I know I said that a little differently earlier, but sometimes when you talk to certain people, it could be friends, family members, it could be someone that's passing through your life, who knows, right? You may ask that person for something, or you may say, you know, I really want to raise, or I really want to be in a committed relationship. I really want to get married. I really want to, whatever it is, have kids, whatever the thing is that you really want, and or you really would like to be in communication or building in a relationship if you're talking to somebody. When someone, sometimes people will make you feel like you're not worth the things that you're worth. They'll say, you'll have friends that will say things like, oh, nobody calls every day. What? That's ridiculous. You know how busy some people are? You know, I always hear women say this quote, well, if Barack is not too busy for Michelle, then other men should not be too busy for me. And it's so true. But I just didn't want to use the same example as everybody else, but I did. But it's true. When people care about certain things in their life, they make time for it. And it's so funny because I spent the last 2.5 years or so. Well, I wasn't really ready to date or anything like that. So I spent the last 2.5 years having a bunch of men tell me how much they thought that I wasn't worth. How, and they didn't say it like you're not worth anything. They didn't say anything derogatory. They didn't try to put me down. They tried it. They were like, oh, I just got busy. I couldn't call this day. Or, oh, I'm not really comfortable calling, so I'm just going to text you to death. And I'm just never going to call. Or it would be sporadic. It'd be inconsistent. Instead of pursuant, it would be just like wherever the wind blows, it's just to go with the flow kind of thing. I had so many men in the past 2 years try to tell me how much they thought that I was not worth. And they didn't say it verbally, they did it with their actions. And sometimes actions tell you everything you need to know, and it's not until you stick to your guns. It's not until you actually stand up for the things that you believe in, that you know that you won't settle for anything less than God's best for you, that you know that if this is as good as it gets, then I'm just going to be by myself. And not a lot of people are willing to say that, but you have to be willing to be alone or be treated the right way. Period. No commas, no semicolons, no colons, no nothing else. Like, that's it. And it's not like you got to get smart and say, I'm never going to put up with that. And you got to have the last word and say some kind of quick, cute saying back to the person, or you don't have to say anything. Your silence means everything. So what you do is you walk away with dignity as a woman who respects herself, and you protect your own security. You protect your own confidence, because nothing makes you more insecure or less confident than allowing someone to treat you less than you deserve to be treated. If I would have settled for any one of those men that told me that I didn't deserve anything but a sporadic phone call or some text messages, I would have been doing myself a disservice. I would have been doing God a disservice for the man that he's going to send in my life, who is actually meant for me. There's no way I ever want to be treated like that. And it does not feel good to have somebody treat you less than, especially when you know you want more. So for all the women out there that are single that are watching this video, please don't ever settle for anything less than God's best in your life. And men too. Don't fall for the whole, oh, we could be just friends because I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. I just have so much healing to do. I don't know why I said it like that. But let me tell you, women who want this man, they might be in the healing process. Like, I'm healing, but I still want to talk to you. They're going to try to make it work some kind of way because they want you. And I feel like it's kind of that way all the way across the board. If somebody wants you, if somebody's interested, if someone feels they know your worth, let's not say feel like you're worth it. When someone knows that you're worth, they will put forth an effort. They will make time for the things that matter to them. And please don't take it offensive and be like, well, they don't think I matter to them, so I don't matter. No, that's their projected insecurity. No, just kidding. But sometimes it is insecurity. But most of the times it's just that you guys aren't graced for each other. And that does not mean either one of you is a bad person. That does not mean either one of you means any ill will or is being facetious in any way. It could just mean that you're not graced for each other. And God has something better for both of you. If you're with that person, you might end up causing them not to be able to grow because you might not be strong enough to stand on your standards yet. Or you could be the type of person who's willing to stand on your standards, but that person's not mature in a stage where they want to be more mature, or they want to try to put forth their best effort. They might not be feeling like they're ready to grow and be a better person yet. They might be comfortable with where they are, and that's not good enough for you. So you got to let it go. You got to know your worth. And I know it sounds so cliche and people say it all the time when they're in relationships to try to make you feel better, and it makes you feel crappy because it's like, okay, I know my worth. Why are they reiterating this? No, just kidding. A little serious, but seriously. So just know that you're worth everything that God has for you. Men, women, whoever is watching this video, that everything that you dream that you would have in a relationship, God has for you. There's nothing that you could ever want for. It's not going to be perfect. They're going to do things that annoy you or that aren't exactly the way that you want them to be. You're going to do things that aren't exactly the way that they want them to be. But your willingness to put forth an effort and try to actually be intentionally wanting to do better is what will be helpful. I don't know what healthy relationships, I can't say I don't know what healthy relationships look like. I know what it looks like, but I'm not in a healthy relationship. And so while I'm in this season of my life, I am just allowing God to continuously work on me, to let me learn new ways that I can be more considerate, that I can really be more communicative instead of just holding in everything that's bothering me, where I can be in a place where something's not the way that I want it to be, where I can speak up or, walk away if there's no way that it'll change, where I could actually give people a chance, not saying just be a doormat or just have this unrealistic fantasy of how I think this person's just going to all of a sudden be a completely different human being. Nothing like that. But actually allow people the opportunity to show me who they really are. Because when someone shows you who they are, believe them, like Maya Angelou says. So when it comes to this season of your life, I'm hoping that you go for what it is that you want. Don't ever feel like you got to settle for anything less than God's best, and know that regardless of what anybody else thinks about you, you have to think the best of yourself. You have to know that you cannot settle for anything less than God's best, no matter how many people tell you that you're not worth it. Know that you're worth it, and do not grow weary in doing well, because in due season you will reap a harvest if you faint not. Always know that joy comes in the morning and that everything is going to be just fine. You just have to have faith. So thank you for watching. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.